Launching a new affiliate website is not as complicated as you might think. First, you need to configure a series of different variable settings within the backend settings of the website. First, we're going to work from our bottom up by entering in our commission settings. Each affiliate must enter PayPal commission settings in order to receive the affiliate payments from the fulfillment center. Within store configuration, you're primarily going to maybe change the blank products you want to sell on your store, or the products essentially you're going to create as retail pre-decorated products within here to offer as again retail products that you're selling on the site. Within the designer settings, you can override how the actual designer works if you want to have advanced features turned on and off, and everything else you can imagine. With marketing and sales tools, we have several different widgets and so forth that we can use. The visitor statistics is a lot like a Google Analytics, where you can learn a lot about your website visitors and from there make decisions on how you can convert those visitors into consumers. Within SEO tools, you can configure many different SEO settings, primarily revolving around local SEO when you're using the geolocation, and then the keyword and metadata. This is to override the default, and then within each page, you can actually override the keyword and metadata descriptions. Within domain settings, you can override the default domain name and enter whatever you want within here. Once you've added your domain name, you then have the ability to add an SSL certificate 100% free. Within price settings, this is where we're going to configure how much we want to charge or essentially make from the wholesale to retail price, which is our commission. So I can either set this up as a percentage or a fixed amount, and then when I actually make individual products, I can override these to be exactly the price I want it to be. I can choose to round the price, and I can even choose how I want it to display on my website. Customers' orders really don't come into play until you've made some sales. Decorated products is where you're going to spend the bulk of your time within the back-end settings for the site. Decorated products is where I will create retail finished products that I'm going to sell on the store. So if you're not going to be offering retail products and you're going to be more or less pushing the ability to create a custom product from scratch, you really don't have to worry about this, but most affiliate websites revolve around selling some type of finished retail product that may or may not be editable. And that again is the bulk of the backend settings you're going to need to configure. Most of these settings you will really configure one time, with decorated products being the primary and also store designs being the secondary most common areas that you're going to be coming to and periodically configuring. Store designs are a lot like the decorated products, except we're uploading our images of the designs we want our customers to use to create either a finished product or we're going to use to create a retail product. Within the actual website settings, we have website pages, which is where you're going to spend the bulk of your time as far as editing your affiliate website. Now, your affiliate website settings are really broken into pages, design, widgets, panels, and theme. The most important thing to do right off the bat is to configure the theme. The theme itself primarily revolves around the look of the header. The header is one of the more difficult parts of a website to make responsive, so we must choose the right theme, and then it's going to be really revolving around, again, where our logo is located, where our navigation is, and so forth. These first three are our primary, with this third one revolving around the logo being on the far left and then the links being in the middle. Once you've applied the theme, you can then start going within the pages, design, widgets, and panel settings. So first we're going to come into pages. Pages are where we're going to be able to add or delete any pages we want on or we want to have in our main navigation. We can choose to show a page within the navigation, or if I come to advanced settings, I can choose to actually turn the page off, override different settings, including the meta information, which is very key for SEO. If I want to turn off a page, it's as easy as coming into a page, and it's a better idea to, instead of turning it off completely, often it's better to just not show in menu. That way the page still it's accessible in some deeper way. It's not right in front of the customer, but it allows the features to still exist. If we turn this page off completely, then this widget and so forth is just never going to be available. Outside of the different pages that you're going to configure, which is all the content, you're going to come in within design, and you're going to come to logo and title. This is where you're going to override the site name, add your logo, and all the other different settings as far as where your image displays, the top, the address bar icon, and so forth. Within the style editor, this is where we can override all the different color and settings for within the website. First, you have the header itself and the drop-down navigation, so we can change the color scheme here, what the hover color is, what the active color is. We can override the default body color settings for the text. And it's also where we can configure our exact button colors. And you want to do this right off the bat. That way, whenever you're adding a button, you're always having that same consistency as far as color and effect. Lastly, down here at the bottom, this is where you're going to find all your designer color scheme settings. So what you want to do is you'll want to come to your pages, come to designer, and then come back to design, style editor, all the way down at the bottom. And this is how you can be looking at your design tool and changing all of the color schemes and so forth on the fly. Also within the design settings, we have the page options. The page options allow us to decide what all we're going to display. Are we going to display the shopping cart? Are we going to display the currency, the telephone number, and so forth? They're very straightforward, and you really don't have to do much with them after you've got them selected. Lastly, we have social site links, which is where we're going to configure our different social network that we might have, and we want our customers to be able to quickly access if they need to. All right, we're going to come back to the home page, and we're going to talk about how we actually configure content on the site. Using our software, it all revolves around a what you see, what you get editor. As in, whatever we're looking at right now, we are in real time editing this page. We are not adding custom code to make it look nice. So we're going to come to widgets, and within widgets, you have many different pieces of content that you can add, whether they're products, images, videos, or just text. First thing we're going to do is we're going to actually add a column. Now, columns can be anything between 1 to 6 rows within the column. And this is where we're going to then add another widget, whether it be an image, again, text, or in our case, let's say we just want to list our blank product categories. We can drop this widget in here. We can then choose, okay, we'll do that category, and then we can start configuring all of the different aspects of this widget using the design settings. Once you've added a widget, most of the tools that you're going to use within it will revolve around the design and the layout properties. The design is again where I can, okay, let's show the category name above, let's show the number of items below, the hover effect, let's make the opacity fade to 50%, that way we know that it's a link. And when it comes to layout, this is where we can decide, okay, where do we want it to be aligned? We want it to be center, left, or right. What do we want the spacing to be like? The margin is the space between the widget and what's above it. And then we also have padding, which is very similar to the margin, but it's within the widget itself, not outside of it. Once you've played around with the different widget settings, the layout properties all pretty much make sense because they're very similar from widget to widget. The design and the properties panels themselves will be different based on the widget you add. So again, most of the content will revolve around widgets, but we also have pre-configured widgets, which are called panels. Now, panels essentially are widgets that we can just switch out the variables very easily. So we can drop this panel in here, and then from here we can just retype the name for whatever we're looking for. So if we wanted to make this, you know, football, we absolutely could, and then we could come to the general column where we have the image, and we could then search the web, look for football, find an image that works, swap it out, and again, just essentially real quickly be adding images and so forth to get the job done. All right, that's a quick overview on how to use the affiliate website tools and launch a new website. Hopefully you find this video helpful. Thank you.